Imagine waking up tomorrow with only $2 in your pocket. Not $2 after paying your bills. Not $2 until payday. Just $2 to survive the entire day. No breakfast waiting in the kitchen, no clean water flowing from the tap, no doctor if you get sick, no savings to rely on. For nearly everything you need, the answer is simply, you can't afford it. Now imagine the exact opposite. A person whose investments make more money before breakfast than most people earn in an entire year. One person is fighting to survive, the other is deciding where to invest their next $1 million. Between these two extremes lies a fascinating financial ladder, a ladder that billions of people climb, struggle on, or sometimes fall from. Today, we're exploring every level of wealth, from extreme poverty to poverty. The lower middle class, the wealthy, millionaires, and finally, billionaires. More importantly, we'll discover what life actually feels like at every stage. Because wealth isn't just about numbers, it's about choices, freedom, security, and opportunities. So let's begin where life is the hardest. The Chapter 1. Extreme Poverty. Imagine playing the hardest survival game ever created. You have no equipment, no extra lives, no cheat codes, and every mistake could end the game. That's what extreme poverty feels like. According to international standards, people living in extreme poverty survive on less than $15 a day. To many of us, that's less than the price of a cup of coffee. But for hundreds of millions of people around the world, it's their entire daily income. At this level, life isn't about building wealth. It's not even about paying bills. It's simply about surviving another day. Breakfast isn't guaranteed, sometimes lunch isn't either. Many families eat only one simple meal each day because that's all they can afford. Clean drinking water becomes a luxury instead of something normal. Children often walk miles just to collect water that still isn't safe to drink. Healthcare barely exists. A fever, a simple infection, or a broken bone. These can become life-threatening because visiting a doctor costs more than an entire week's income. Education also becomes a privilege. Many children leave school early, not because they don't want to learn, but because their families need them to work. Every day becomes a difficult series of impossible choices. Do you buy food or medicine? Do you repair your home? Or save that money for tomorrow's meal? When you're living in extreme poverty, you don't dream about retirement, you don't think about investing, you don't even think about next year. Your entire world revolves around making it through today. So Chapter 2, Poverty. Now let's move one step higher. Text. Chapter 4, Middle Class. For many people, reaching the middle class feels like achieving the dream. Life becomes much more comfortable. Bills are paid on time. The refrigerator is full. The children attend good schools. Family vacations become part of the yearly routine. Buying a new laptop or replacing an old phone no longer requires months of planning, but don't mistake comfort for wealth. Most middle-class families still depend on one thing: their paycheck. If that paycheck suddenly disappears, the lifestyle they've built can quickly begin to fall apart. This is the biggest difference between being comfortable and being financially free. Middle-class families often have retirement accounts, emergency savings, and maybe a few investments. They understand the importance of planning for the future. However, many are still paying mortgages, car loans, or student debt. Money creates comfort, but not complete freedom. Many people in this class continue working for decades because they simply cannot afford to stop. They're building a better life, but they're still trading time for money. Even so, the middle class represents something extremely valuable: stability, opportunity, and hope for the next generation. Children usually receive better education, families can invest in new skills, Parents can think beyond tomorrow and start planning for 10 or 20 years ahead. This is often where the journey toward real wealth truly begins. Master Chapter 5. Upper middle class. Now we're entering a completely different financial world. People in the upper middle class aren't just earning more money, they're creating options. These are often experienced professionals, successful entrepreneurs, senior executives, doctors, lawyers, engineers, or business owners whose income is well above average. Their homes are larger, their neighborhoods are safer, their vacations become international instead of local. Private schools may become an option. Luxury isn't something they dream about anymore. It's something they occasionally enjoy. But here's what makes this group different. Many of them understand that income alone doesn't create wealth, so they invest. They buy stocks, rental properties, businesses, retirement funds, and other assets that continue growing while they sleep. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" they often ask, "Is this a smart financial decision?" That simple change in mindset separates them from many people below them. They know that every dollar spent today is a dollar that could have been invested for tomorrow. They enjoy a high standard of living, yet they still respect money because they understand that maintaining wealth requires discipline just as much as building it. Chapter 6. Affluent. Now we've reached a level where money begins creating freedom. People who are affluent rarely worry about paying next month's bills. Their emergency fund is already waiting. Their investments continue growing. Their income comes from multiple sources instead of just one paycheck. Life becomes less stressful, not because problems disappear, but because money solves many of the financial ones. Imagine deciding to travel overseas next month and not wondering whether you can afford the trip. Imagine replacing your car because you want to, not because you have to. Imagine eating at your favorite restaurant every weekend without checking the prices first. That's the kind of flexibility wealth begins to provide. Affluent individuals usually own valuable assets: homes, investment portfolios, businesses, commercial properties, sometimes even vacation homes. But perhaps their greatest advantage isn't what they own, it's time. They have more freedom to spend time with family, travel, learn new skills, start new businesses, or simply enjoy life. Money is no longer controlling their decisions. Instead, they're using money as a tool to create the life they truly want. And that's a completely different way of living. Our life becomes slightly easier, but it's still incredibly difficult. This is poverty. People in poverty usually have some income. Maybe they have a job, maybe they earn enough to cover some basic expenses, but every month feels like walking on a tightrope. One unexpected expense can destroy everything. Imagine your refrigerator suddenly stops working, or your child becomes sick, or your employer reduces your working hours. For many families living in poverty, these ordinary events become financial disasters. The stress never truly disappears. Even when bills are paid, another one is already waiting. Many people think poverty is simply about earning less money, but that's only part of the story. Poverty also limits opportunities. If you can't afford higher education, your chances of getting a better job become smaller. If you can't afford transportation, finding work becomes more difficult. If you don't have access to healthcare, your ability to keep working decreases. This creates what economists call the poverty trap. The less money you have, the harder it becomes to earn more. It's a cycle that can last for generations. Parents struggle financially, their children receive fewer opportunities. And without major changes, those children often face the same struggles as adults. Breaking this cycle requires more than hard work. It often requires access to education, healthcare, financial knowledge, and opportunities that many people simply never receive. Chapter 3. Lower middle class. Now we reach the point where life starts becoming stable. Welcome to the lower middle class. At first glance, everything seems comfortable. There's a steady paycheck, Rent or a mortgage gets paid. The lights stay on. Food is available. Maybe there's even a family car parked outside. Life looks normal. But behind the scenes, money is carefully managed every single month. Budgets are important. Discounts matter. Impulse purchases are dangerous. Many families in this category live paycheck to paycheck, not because they waste money, but because nearly every dollar already has a purpose. They can usually afford basic healthcare, children go to school, small vacations become possible, but expensive surprises remain a serious threat. The car engine fails, the roof starts leaking, someone loses a job, suddenly years of savings disappear in a matter of weeks. That's why people in the lower middle class often become experts at financial planning. They compare prices, wait for seasonal sales, look for better insurance, search for extra income. Every financial decision is carefully calculated. Although they may not feel wealthy, they're no longer fighting for survival. Instead, they're fighting for stability. And for millions of families around the world, that alone feels like a huge achievement. Tongtusa, Chapter 7. Upper Affluent. At this point, wealth is no longer measured by how much money you earn. It's measured by how much money works for you. Welcome to the upper affluent class. This is where financial security turns into financial independence. Most people in this category don't rely on a single source of income. Instead, they have businesses, investment portfolios, real estate, dividend-paying stocks, private investments, and assets that continue generating wealth every single day. Their money is constantly working, even while they sleep. If they decide to take 6 months off, their lifestyle barely changes because their income isn't tied to showing up at work every morning. This level of wealth also brings access to opportunities that most people never even see. Private investment deals, exclusive business partnerships, professional wealth managers, tax advisors, estate planners. The goal is no longer simply making more money, it's protecting wealth, growing wealth, and passing it on to future generations. Many people at this stage begin thinking decades ahead. They're building a legacy, not just a paycheck. And perhaps the biggest luxury of all is having complete control over your time. Kadi Tudi Chapter Tate. Millionaire. Now we've reached one of the most misunderstood financial milestones in the world, becoming a millionaire. Movies often make millionaires look like celebrities driving exotic cars and living in giant mansions. Reality is very different. A millionaire is simply someone whose net worth is at least $1 million. Notice the words, net worth, not cash. That means if someone owns valuable property, retirement accounts, stocks, businesses, and investments worth more than $1 million after subtracting all debts, they're officially a millionaire. In fact, many millionaires don't look rich at all. They drive reliable cars, live below their means, avoid unnecessary debt, and continue investing year after year. They understand something most people don't. Wealth isn't built by spending money. It's built by owning assets. Every investment becomes another employee working 24 hours a day. While most people work for money, millionaires make money work for them. That's the real difference. And that's why many millionaires continue becoming even wealthier over time. Not because they earn more, but because their assets never stop growing. Tong Tsai Sat, Chapter 9. Multi-Millionaire. Now imagine taking everything we've discussed and multiplying it several times over. That's the world of the multi-millionaire. These individuals often own multiple companies, large real estate portfolios, private investments, luxury properties across different countries, and businesses that generate millions of dollars every year. Money gives them something priceless, choice. They don't have to work. They choose to. Many continue building companies, launching new projects, or investing in exciting ideas, not because they need another paycheck, but because they enjoy creating value. At this stage, financial decisions become strategic rather than personal. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" the question becomes, "Will this investment create even more wealth?" Many multimillionaires also begin focusing on legacy, supporting charities, funding education, helping entrepreneurs, creating foundations. Because once your personal needs are completely satisfied, the next challenge often becomes making a difference. Say text. Chapter 10. Billionaire. Finally, we've reached the highest level on the financial ladder, the billionaire. This is a level of wealth so extraordinary that it's difficult for most people to truly imagine. To understand the difference, let's compare it to being a millionaire. A millionaire owns $1 million. A billionaire owns $1,000 million. That isn't just a little more. It's an entirely different universe. Imagine spending $1,000 every single day. Every day. Without missing a single day, it would take you nearly 3,000 years to spend $1 billion. That's how massive the gap really is. But here's something many people don't realize. Billionaires rarely keep billions sitting in a bank account. Their wealth is tied to companies, factories, technology, stocks, real estate, energy, artificial intelligence, and countless other investments spread across the world. Their money is constantly moving, growing, creating businesses, employing thousands, sometimes millions of people. Their decisions can influence entire industries. A single investment can create thousands of jobs. A single innovation can change how billions of people live. That's why many of the world's biggest companies were built by billionaires who thought decades into the future instead of focusing on tomorrow. However, being a billionaire doesn't mean life becomes perfect. With enormous wealth comes enormous responsibility. Every decision is watched by investors, governments, the media, and the public. Success at this level isn't measured by the next paycheck. It's measured by the impact you leave behind, the companies you build, the technology you create, the lives you improve, and the legacy that remains long after you're gone. Multi-millionaire. Final thoughts. So, where are you on this financial ladder? Maybe you're still fighting your way out of poverty. Maybe you're working hard to build a stable middle-class life. Or maybe you've already started investing for your future. Wherever you are today, remember this: every billionaire, every millionaire, every successful entrepreneur started much lower than where they are now. No one is born understanding money. Financial success is learned. It's built one decision at a time, one investment at a time, one habit at a time. The people who continue climbing aren't always the smartest. They're often the ones who never stop learning, never stop improving, and never stop thinking about the future. Because wealth isn't simply about making more money, it's about creating more freedom, more choices, more opportunities, and the ability to live life on your own terms. The journey from poverty to wealth doesn't happen overnight. It happens through thousands of small decisions repeated over many years. So the real question isn't, how rich are you today? The real question is, what financial level are you building toward tomorrow? If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because every week, we explore the stories, habits, and strategies behind money, success, and financial freedom. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.